You're watching Mugen TV RPG Haven. Experience a fantasy like no other.
Hey guys, it's MugenLord here. I'm back again with another Final Fantasy VII Remake video. And before we begin, I just want to thank you guys for checking out my previous Final Fantasy VII Remake videos. I know it's been a while since I talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's been a while since I uploaded actual content here on this channel, and I've just been getting in the groove of things, and it feels good to just have fun and just talk about the games that I just enjoy talking about, which is especially in this case Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I'm a big fan of the original Final Fantasy VII. And since I'm a big fan, I have a lot of concerns with Final Fantasy VII Remake and its storytelling, and I really enjoy this, and I'm glad that you guys actually enjoy me putting out this content, so I really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel and haven't checked out my previous Final Fantasy VII Remake content, I suggest you go check that out. There may be something in the videos that you may like, so don't forget to just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like any of my Final Fantasy VII Remake videos. So let's dive into this topic. Now, this is an important topic to me, and I've really been thinking about this, and I want to know, and I want to hear your thoughts and what you think about this. What I want to talk about in this video today is the whole situation with the KALM flashback about the Nibelheim massacre. Now, what is the KALM flashback? If you're new to Final Fantasy VII in general, there's going to be a ton of spoilers, so I suggest that you just click away from this video if you don't want to be spoiled. But if you don't care, then stay. And if you're an OG fan and is currently playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and really want to know what the hell they're going to do moving forward in terms of story, definitely stay here and let's just have this discussion. Now, if you guys don't know what the KALM flashback is, that's pretty much where in the original Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud and the party escapes, just like in the remake of Final Fantasy VII. At the end, they finally escape Midgard, and now they're on their journey moving forward. And the first place they go to is the town of KALM. They go to the town of KALM. They stay at a hotel, and this is where Cloud gives a shit ton of exposition about what happened in his hometown of Nibelheim. When they go to Nibelheim, when he explains the story of Nibelheim, he explained how Sephiroth, because now they know who Sephiroth is, because Sephiroth had killed the president of Shinra in the original. He killed him, and now is bringing more questions of who this Sephiroth guy is, because of course the big lie that in with the media and everybody is saying about Sephiroth is that he was a great hero and he had died, he had mysteriously died in a war or something like that, or accident happened and he just died. So in this turns, we actually found out the truth of what happened to Sephiroth. Now, in the KALM flashback, Cloud gives his perspective, or so we think it is his perspective, on how these events had occurred in Nibelheim, and how Cloud and Sephiroth were, Cloud had once looked up to Sephiroth, and how Sephiroth had pretty much turned his back on everyone, and he slaughtered everybody in Nibelheim, killed Cloud's mother, killed everybody in the town, killed Tifa's father, and pretty much just embraced what he believes to be the chosen one that's supposed to pretty much bring forth or to enter the promised land, and he's the son of Genova. So pretty much in the original he explains that story. Now the thing is, in the original, as he explains the story, Tifa is really shaky on it, because Tifa is hiding so much. And this is the thing too, a lot of this stuff could have been resolved if Tifa would have opened her mouth to begin with, because Tifa is not believing in anything that Cloud is saying. More so she's scared is because she's saying, because if you play the original, Cloud, everything that Cloud's saying in the about the KALM flashback, yeah, it happened, but Cloud wasn't in that perspective at all. And Tifa is saying Cloud wasn't there, but how do Cloud know any of this that went down? Because she never seen Cloud. And if you guys already know, and if you don't know, Cloud was there, but Cloud was a regular Shinra grunt, essentially. And remember, if you remember in the flashback, and even in the flashback in the original, Cloud talks to Tifa at the top of the water well to pretty much tell Tifa that he's going to go to be enlist in Shinra so he can eventually become Shinra. And Tifa said, if please promise me you'll come back, and if I'm ever in danger, come rescue me. Now the thing is, Cloud never he never cut out to be a soldier, so he ended up being a grunt. He does go back to Nibelheim, but pretty much Cloud couldn't face Tifa because he didn't cut out to be soldier. He actually failed. He never became soldier, he became a grunt. So he hid himself. And he even told Sephiroth, he even told Zack, please don't tell Tifa. I don't want to know. Because when Sephiroth goes into Nibelheim, he asks Cloud, how does it feel to come back to your hometown? And Cloud essentially didn't say nothing. And when Tifa finds out that Sephiroth and soldiers are coming to Nibelheim, she was hoping Cloud would show up, but Cloud was never there. Cloud was actually there, but he was a Shimmer grunt, and he was so ashamed he didn't want to show his face. So Tifa just assumed that he wasn't there. Cloud is in fact telling the story, and everything truly did happen, but it only happened. He's only telling it in the events of Zack's perspective, and that's what this whole thing about Zack. Zack is the centerpiece to everything that happens to Cloud. Zack is the vehicle that pushes Cloud's development, because Cloud not only wants to be soldier, he actually formulated a bond and a friendship with Zack. And at the time of Zack's death, Zack passed the mantle on to him, which is the Buster Sword, and he asked Cloud to pretty much pass on my legacy. I want to live on through you. Carry my name, pretty much. So Cloud had pretty much, because he had also the Mako poisoning, he mixed Zack's memory with his own memories. So the story that he talks about in KALM is actually through the perspective of Zack instead of his own. And this is the same information that Sephiroth used to manipulate Cloud by calling Cloud a clone of Sephiroth himself. That Cloud is not really a person. And he actually said that in the trick Cloudian Father, he says to Tifa that Cloud is actually a figment of Tifa's imagination. That Tifa imagines a hero or the perfect guy who would come save her, and that because of her imagination, this is what she wanted. That's what created Cloud. He played all these mind games to pretty much trick Cloud, and that's how he's able to manipulate Cloud to get the black materia. So now that we got this out of the way, how is this going to be told much differently in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2? Because there's no way in the world that this is going to be a part that's going to be cut out for Final Fantasy Remake 7 Remake Part 2, because at the end of the Intergrade or the intermission Yuffie DLC, we already see Cloud and his party on their way to KALM. They meet Chocobo Bill, and Chocobo Bill takes them to a crossroads where they're going to walk the rest of the way to KALM. So we know that KALM is going to be an important set piece in terms of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. How they're going to execute it, don't know, but we're here to have that discussion about it, because there's some things that have me scratching my head now that we have new information of what's going on in terms of the story that they have revealed to us at the end of the intermission DLC. Now, this is the thing. How would they start Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2? I believe, in my opinion, I think the best way for them to start Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is to actually start with the flashback itself. That you actually get a chance to play the flashback all the way through. So you'll be able to actually have Sephiroth on your side. You actually have Sephiroth in your party. Maybe he's actually a playable character in a sense. So I think that'll be an interesting aspect and an interesting direction for them to go. So the players got a chance to actually experience how this new Sephiroth play and experience how powerful this character actually is. Now, this is where the gut punch is, because Final Fantasy VII Remake actually take the liberties to change a lot of aspects of the story in terms of Cloud's past and how he recounts certain events of his past. Because in Final Fantasy VII Remake, we actually get introduced to Nibelheim so early into the game, and we also get a chance to get introduced to Sephiroth so early into the game, which is, like I said before in all my previous videos, is downright ridiculous. It's stupid. I don't know why they decided to do that. And all right, let's just continue, because I would definitely go off on a tangent and start ranting about that, because it's just stupid. Now, there's one part within Final Fantasy VII Remake of the game, at the very beginning, after you blow up the reactor, Cloud runs into Sephiroth, which is pretty much a figment of his imagination. But you remember the part where he pretty much get a flashback of Nibelheim that everything was on fire, and that's Cloud's house actually, where his mother died. And then you appear in this imaginary I guess you say, illusion that's in Cloud's head where Nibelheim is on fire, and then you follow Sephiroth. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this, only reason why I'm mentioning this is because what I'm about to say to you can definitely impact the whole experience of the KALM flashback now that we have this new information and how they changed everything. All right, so what do I mean? Now, when we get to this part where Cloud actually goes through this imaginary Nibelheim in his head, he runs into Sephiroth, and Cloud said,
"You're not real. You're dead.
I am.
I killed you with my own."
This, I'm gonna just paraphrase. Impossible. Like, how are you still alive? I killed you. Now, remember, let's go back. Let's rewind that again. He says, "I killed you." This right here, this very line right here, changes everything. It changes everything. Moving forward, this actually would change, in my opinion. And if they continue to keep it faithful to the original, like the KALM story, the KALM flashback, talking about the Nibelheim massacre, I'll be really surprised. But there's no way in the world that the KALM flashback with the Nibelheim massacre will play out the same as the original after hearing this line. Because him saying that I killed you changes everything in terms of Cloud's memory. Because now this statement right here signifies that Cloud knows that he's responsible for Sephiroth's death. If you remember in the original Final Fantasy VII, Cloud's memories get jumbled up with Zack. And during the KALM flashback, when Cloud explains that he runs into Sephiroth and him and Sephiroth actually has a sword fight with each other, Cloud says that Sephiroth let him live. Barret asks Cloud, why did he do that? And Cloud said, to be honest with you, I don't know. Now, Tifa's in the background saying to herself, this doesn't make sense. Like, I was there. And she doesn't say this out to Cloud. But as you go through the game and you start piecing Cloud's life and his past back together, you'll notice why Tifa is acting strange around Cloud. Because she's saying to herself, that didn't happen that way. Cloud, you wasn't there. So she think Cloud wasn't there. Like I said, he's saying it through Zack's perspective, not his own perspective. So that's why the part where Cloud fights Sephiroth and live is kind of fuzzy and it's not to be trusted. It doesn't make sense. And even though Barret wasn't there, Barret is saying that, wow, Sephiroth is so powerful, why did he keep you alive? And Cloud didn't have that answer. Now, I say that to say this is because the fact that Cloud knows that he killed Sephiroth, which he couldn't really even remember that part of his memories in the original until you actually make it to the middle to end part of the second disc, where Tifa helps Cloud when they fall into the live stream, where Tifa helped Cloud put his memories together, and they discovered that Cloud was in fact there, but he was the grunt, and he took Zack's sword and he impaled Sephiroth, which caused Sephiroth to die. You start to find all that stuff out later. But the fact is that Cloud in the remake knows this so fucking early in Final Fantasy VII Remake, that changes the whole aspect. Because if we do the flashback, which I'm pretty sure that we will do, when Cloud explains the KALM flashback and we actually experience it by playing through it, Cloud knowing the fact that he killed Sephiroth, that's going to change everything. And what I mean by change everything, if he knows that he kills Sephiroth, then that must mean that he knows about Zack. If he knows about Zack, how is him telling the story may go a different way, where he actually tells the story from a different perspective. Instead of telling it from Zack's perspective, Zack will probably actually be in the story with Cloud and Sephiroth. You get what I'm saying here? So if he does explain, and I could possibly be wrong, this is just my theory, this is just my speculation, that the Nibelheim massacre could be explained totally different. That Cloud actually knows about Zack, and that Cloud's memories are not actually jumbled up with Zack's this time, and that we actually get a chance to play as Zack and Sephiroth in the same party and with Cloud in the Nibelheim massacre. This is what I'm thinking. Because him knowing the fact that he killed Sephiroth changes the whole the whole changes that whole aspect of the Nibelheim massacre. Him knowing that he killed Sephiroth must mean that he knows that his memories aren't mixed with Zack's anymore. That's my guess, and this is what I believe. I think the Nibelheim massacre may be told much differently than the original. I don't understand how they will be able to explain this the same way as the original, with these new details, with this new piece of information, with Cloud knowing already things about his life. Oh, how deep does this rabbit hole of his memories go as far as mixing things up? And that's what I'm curious. That piece of information changes every fabric, every form, every bits of detail about the Nibelheim experience and the Nibelheim massacre. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Like, I'm really curious about this. Like, what do you think? How would the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 handle the Nibelheim massacre? Will they just ignore that aspect and just still have Cloud tell the story like how he told in the original? Or do you think that they're going to do some significant changes to the Nibelheim story, to the Nibelheim massacre? And how would that greatly affect Tifa? Like how Tifa is going to explain the story, or how will this whole dynamic between Cloud and Tifa, as far as recounting the events of the Nibelheim massacre, how would that, change the dynamic between the two? I definitely need your thoughts in the comment section below. I think this is something that we really need to discuss and talk about. And if you're an OG fan, how do you feel about this? And do you think that there's a possibility that there could be some significant changes to the Nibelheim massacre story being told by Cloud at KALM? Definitely get your thoughts. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to hear more news related to Final Fantasy VII Remake, hit that notification bell. And this is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.